Hi everyone, this is Saf Fiskio with Grief and Everything in Between. Welcome to my first podcast episode. I am so happy you are here and listening to what I have to say. I've been thinking about starting this podcast for a couple of weeks now, maybe months. Like I mentioned in the introduction, my husband, Charles Robert Fiskio, he always wanted to have a golfing page, a podcast about golf. So this is me keeping his legacy alive, keeping our story alive, and keeping him alive. I'll be going over a lot of my grief. We'll be having people coming on the show, talking about their grief, and obviously everything in between. I wanted to take this first episode to talk about my point of view that I've learned over the past, 6 months next week. Unfortunately, I've noticed with grief, we tend to shove it down like a beach ball. We just push it down and try to move on very quickly. And that's not something I'm particularly thrilled about. As the society we live in, why we do that, I think it's just been the way it is, for years. But for me, part of the grief is grieving the person because if you love deeply, you're going to grieve deeply. So every grief is different, every story is different. No grief is the same. As we all know, grief is linear. So I really think being gentle with yourself, healing isn't about erasing this person. I think it's about managing, learning to live with it. You're never going to get over it. I hate that when people think, oh, they're going to get over it. Time will make it better. No, time is not going to make it better. If anything, it's actually made it worse for me personally. Charlie and I have only ever been maybe like a week apart in our 6 year relationship. We started living with each other almost immediately because we were friends at first. So, like, we really had a huge foundation. He's my best friend. He's my husband. So when you love that deeply, like I said, you're gonna grieve that deeply. And it's not gonna be just shoot away. And I think that's something I struggle with. Not necessarily like I want to make people uncomfortable. I just want people to know that it's okay to talk about your person, it's okay. That's the reality of it. That's how you keep them alive. I understand, well, maybe I don't. Maybe I haven't even fully comprehended that I'm going to be sad for probably ever. But if anything, I know by making this podcast, I may be sad forever, but I'm not going to be alone in this sadness forever. And that's why I have come here to make this podcast in this community. And I hope you all come along on this journey with me. Now, bear with me as I work out the kinks of this podcast. This is my first see, this is my first podcast ever. And I'm recording it kind of like in a one-shot deal. I'm not gonna go back and edit anything. So it's just gonna be real, raw content. How I've been feeling over the past couple of months, and I'm just gonna get into it. Like I said earlier, I feel like as a society, we push down our grief and pretend we're okay. And I think, like as many great authors have already put out there, many grief podcasters have stated, it's okay not to be okay. I think the only way to go through grief is to process it at your own pace, not to go around it, not to dismiss it, but slowly go through it. I think if you would have told me a couple of years ago that there are stages of grief, I would have been like, yeah, sure. Yeah, read about it, learned about it in college, high school. Nope. Load of crap. Load of crap. There are no set stages. I think I go in between, if you want to say, denial, acceptance, anger, numb, sadness, happy. Like, I go back and forth. I mean, I go in multiple stages in one day. I don't necessarily think I've fully accepted it. But again, it's still so fresh. It's still so new. The reason why I wanted to talk about shooing away grief so quickly in this first podcast, I actually wrote a journal entry. It's called Glimpse. So I wrote this back in June. Glimpse. I get mad when people can't tell from a glimpse I'm grieving. How hypocritical of me. Huh, honey? Did I know that from a glimpse they were grieving, having a hard time, receiving bad news, just trying to keep their head above water? No, I didn't. For those I haven't noticed from a glimpse, please accept my apology. Let's look past the glimpse. I spend my days doom scrolling, fighting the urge to forget it all. But at a glimpse, I may seem like I have it all together, but I am far from having it all together. I am far from having the answer, and I'm far from a glimpse of having this grief figured out. So I wrote that, like I said, back in June, July. Now I can't even remember. Grief brain. It really resonated with me because I've had losses before. Like I said, each grief journey is different. Charlie, obviously, the biggest of my entire life, my husband, my best friend. So it really made me take a step back when I was out for the first time in public, thinking, contemplating, and coming home and talking out loud to Charlie, like, why can't people tell that I'm grieving? And why were they so rude? Why were they so that? And then I sat there and I thought about it and I'm like, well, they might be going through the exact same thing. So I guess what I'm saying is just maybe taking a minute to pause, take a step back, reflect, being kind, being more patient with people. I'm learning that because I'm so caught up in my grief all the time that I forget others might be going through the exact same thing I am. I don't think that's talked about enough. I don't think grief as a whole is talked about enough. I want to hear your stories. I want you to share your people. I want you to go to my page, comment, send pictures, send memories, send stories. This is how we keep them alive. This is how we keep their legacy going. This is how we keep memories of them. I am very adamant on that. I might not have this whole grief per se figured out, but I do know one thing. I am going to talk about Charlie. I am going to tell stories about Charlie. I'm going to sing about Charlie. I'm going to scream about Charlie. You're not going to forget Charlie's name. That is my goal. He means everything to me. And that's just where I'm at right now. So, yeah. Subscribe, listen in for the next episode, and I really, really appreciate you listening from the bottom of my heart, really. Even if it's one person, thank you, because I hope that you're not feeling as alone as I am by listening in, even if it's just one person. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this. So, thank you.